He worked harder than anyone in the village, but after 20 years, he owned nothing. There was a time when two young men started working as woodcutters in the same forest. They were the same age, started on the same day, cut the same trees, but one of them stayed poor his entire life while the other became the wealthiest man in town. The difference wasn't talent. It wasn't luck. It was one simple decision that most people get wrong from day one. The first man's name was Tariq. On his first day of work, he showed up at the forest with nothing but his hands. He needed an axe to cut wood, so he went to the tool merchant and said, "Can I borrow an axe? I'll return it at the end of the day." The merchant agreed but said, "Every time you borrow it, you pay me 1 coin." Tariq thought that was fair. He took the axe, went into the forest, and cut wood all day. When evening came, he sold the wood for 10 coins. He returned the axe, paid the merchant 1 coin, and went home with 9. 9 coins felt like good money. Tariq was happy. He ate well that night and rested. The next morning, Tariq woke up and went back to the forest. But he had no axe, so he went back to the merchant, borrowed the same axe, and paid another coin at the end of the day. This became his routine. Every single day, Tariq borrowed the axe. Every single day, he paid 1 coin to use it. He did this for weeks, then months, then years. After 1 year, Tariq had paid the merchant over 300 coins just to borrow the axe. But he still didn't own it. After 5 years, he had paid over 1,500 coins. After 10 years, he had paid 3,000 coins to use a tool that wasn't his. Tariq worked hard every single day. He woke up early. He never missed work. He cut more wood than most people. But at the end of every day, he was paying someone else just to do his job. People saw him working and thought he was doing fine. But Tariq was trapped. He couldn't stop working because if he stopped, he had no tool. No tool meant no income. No income meant no food. Tariq's entire life depended on borrowing. He borrowed the axe. He borrowed a cart to move the wood. He borrowed a sharpening stone to keep the blade useful. Every single thing he needed to work, he rented from someone else. And every coin he paid to borrow those things went into someone else's pocket, not his. 20 years went by like this. Tariq's back got weaker. His hands got rougher. His body got tired. But he still didn't own a single tool. He still paid to borrow every single day. One day, Tariq got sick. He couldn't work for a week. And because he couldn't work, he earned nothing. No wood cut, no coins made. And when he recovered and tried to go back, he realized he had no savings to even rent the axe. Tariq worked for 20 years and ended up with nothing. Because he never owned his craft, he just rented it. Now let's talk about the second man. His name was Khalil. On his first day of work, Khalil also showed up with no axe. He also went to the tool merchant, but instead of borrowing, Khalil asked, "How much does it cost to buy an axe?" The merchant said, 40 coins. Khalil only had 10 coins saved. So here's what he did. He borrowed the axe for the first 4 days, just like Tariq. He paid 1 coin each day and kept the rest. After 4 days, he had enough money saved to buy his own axe. On the 5th day, Cal walked into the forest with his own tool. He didn't owe anyone. He didn't pay rent. The axe was his. Every coin he made from that day forward stayed in his pocket. At first, Cal and Tariq made similar money, 10 coins a day. But here's the difference. Tariq paid 1 coin every day to rent. Cal paid nothing. That 1 coin difference added up fast. After 1 year, Cal had saved 300 extra coins that Tariq didn't have. Cal took that money and bought a second axe. Now he could hire someone to work with him. That person cut wood while Cal cut wood. To people working, double the income. A few years later, Cal bought a third axe, then a fourth, then a cart, then a sharpening stone. He owned everything he needed, and he started renting tools to other workers. Guess who rented from him? Tariq. Now Cal wasn't just making money from his own work. He was making money from the tools. Other people borrowed. He was making money while he slept. He was making money while he rested. His tools worked for him. After 20 years, Cal owned a whole workshop. He had 15 axes, 5 carts, a team of workers, and he barely had to cut wood anymore. His business ran itself. Meanwhile, Tariq still showed up every day, borrowed an axe, and paid rent. One day, both men sat outside the marketplace. Tariq looked at Cal and said, "I don't understand. We started together. We worked the same job. I worked just as hard as you, maybe harder. So why are you rich and I'm still struggling?" Cal looked at him and said something Tariq never forgot. "Because you borrowed your entire life. I only borrowed for 4 days." Tariq didn't understand. Cal explained. "Every day you borrowed that axe, you gave away a piece of your future. 1 coin doesn't sound like much, but 1 coin every day for 20 years is over 7,000 coins. You could have bought 200 axes with that money. Instead, you rented one. I paid 40 coins once and owned it forever. You paid 7,000 coins and still own nothing." Tariq realized his mistake. He thought renting was easier. He thought, why spend 40 coins now when I can spend 1 coin today? But 1 coin today became 1 coin tomorrow, and the day after, and the day after that, forever. Cal spent big once and saved forever. Tariq saved small once and paid forever. Here's the lesson most people never learn. Renting your life is expensive. Owning your life is cheap. When you rent the things you need, you stay dependent. You pay forever. You build wealth for someone else, not yourself. When you own the things you need, you stop paying. You keep everything you make. You build wealth for yourself. This applies to everything. People rent cars instead of saving to buy one. They pay interest on credit cards instead of buying with cash. They lease furniture. They finance phones. They borrow money for things that lose value. Every payment you make to rent something is a piece of your future going to someone else. Most people think debt and renting are normal. They think everyone does it, so it must be fine. But normal doesn't mean smart. Most people are broke. That's also normal. Rich people think differently. They buy assets. They own their tools. They stop paying rent as fast as possible. And once they own enough, they become the ones others rent from. Tariq worked his whole life and stayed poor because he rented his axe. Khalil worked smarter and got rich because he owned his axe. The difference wasn't effort. It was ownership. When you own your tools, you control your income. When you rent your tools, someone else controls your income. Stop renting your life. Start owning it. Watch the next one.